There's a camera in your office, the little boy whispered. What happened next shocked the CEO. The little boy tugged at the CEO's expensive suit jacket and whispered something so quietly it almost got lost in the hum of the building. But the words froze the man in place. His smile faded. His confident posture stiffened. There's a camera in your office, the boy said. I think it's watching people. No one else noticed. No alarms rang. But in that single moment, everything the CEO thought he knew about his company and himself was about to change. Before we continue, if you enjoy emotional stories that remind us how powerful kindness can be, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment below. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to share more meaningful stories like this here on Kindness Story Hub. Now, let's begin. Daniel Whitmore was the kind of CEO people admired from a distance. He ran a successful tech company in Chicago, wore tailored suits, spoke confidently at conferences, and appeared on magazine covers with headlines about innovation and leadership. From the outside, he looked like a man who had everything figured out, but inside, Daniel was tired. Tired of meetings. Tired of pressure. Tired of feeling like every day was about numbers instead of people. That morning, he was walking through the office with a group of visiting donors, showing them the newly renovated floors. As they passed the lobby, a woman stood near the front desk holding the hand of a small boy. She looked nervous, her clothes worn but clean. The boy couldn't have been more than 8 years old. Daniel barely noticed them at first. The woman explained to the receptionist that she was there for a janitorial interview. The boy, her son, had nowhere else to go, so she had brought him along. The receptionist hesitated, clearly unsure if children were allowed beyond the lobby. Daniel overheard and surprised himself by stepping in. It's fine, he said. Let them wait in the conference room. The woman looked up, startled. Thank you, sir, she said softly. The donors moved on, but the boy didn't. As Daniel turned to follow the group, he felt a small tug on his jacket. That's when the whisper came, there's a camera in your office. Daniel laughed lightly at first. What? The boy didn't smile. He leaned closer. Behind the bookshelf. It's not for meetings. It's different. Daniel felt a strange chill. How would you know that? The boy shrugged. I like noticing things. Before Daniel could say more, the woman hurried over, apologizing and pulling her son back. I'm so sorry, she said. He has a very active imagination. But Daniel couldn't shake the feeling. All day, the boy's words echoed in his mind. That evening, after most employees had left, Daniel returned to his office alone. The lights were dim. The city glowed through the windows. He stared at the large bookshelf behind his desk, one he rarely touched. He stood up and slowly moved toward it. There, tucked between two thick binders, was a tiny black lens. Daniel's heart pounded. He called his head of security immediately. Within minutes, they confirmed it. A hidden camera. Not installed by IT. Not logged in any system. It had been recording for weeks. What was it for? Daniel demanded. Security had no answer. The footage was traced to a mid-level manager named Thomas Hale. A man Daniel barely knew. Quiet. Efficient. Never caused trouble. When confronted, Thomas broke down. I wanted to know who was loyal, he confessed. Who stayed late? Who complained? I thought it would help the company. Daniel was furious. Not just because of the illegal act, but because it represented everything he feared. He had become a leader who allowed fear and control to replace trust. Thomas was terminated immediately, and the footage was destroyed. But Daniel didn't feel relief. He felt shame. The next morning, Daniel asked the receptionist about the woman and her son. She didn't get the job, the receptionist said. She didn't have enough experience. Daniel nodded, then paused. What was her name? Maria, the receptionist replied. Her son is Ethan. Daniel spent the rest of the day distracted. Meetings blurred together. Emails went unread. All he could think about was a little boy who saw something adults had ignored and spoke up anyway. That evening, Daniel made a decision. He called Maria. She was surprised to hear from him. Nervous, even. I wanted to apologize, Daniel said. And? I wanted to thank your son. For what? Maria asked. For his honesty. Daniel invited them back the next day. When Ethan walked into the office again, he looked around carefully, like a tiny investigator. Daniel knelt down to his level. "You were right," Daniel said gently. "There was a camera. And because you spoke up, we fixed something very wrong." Ethan looked serious. "My mom says telling the truth is being kind, even if it's scary." Daniel felt a lump in his throat. Maria was offered more than just a janitorial job. Daniel arranged training for her in facilities management. A real career path. Benefits. Stability, she cried when she heard. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. Daniel shook his head. "You already did." But the story didn't end there. At the next company-wide meeting, Daniel did something no one expected. He told the entire staff what had happened. About the camera. About the boy. About how close the company had come to losing its values. "I forgot something important," Daniel admitted. "That leadership is not about watching people. It's about caring for them." He announced new policies focused on transparency, trust, and employee well-being. Open door hours. Anonymous feedback channels that actually led to action. Support programs for families. The office atmosphere slowly changed. People smiled more. Stayed not because they were afraid, but because they felt valued. Weeks later, Daniel received a drawing in the mail. It was from Ethan. A picture of a tall building with lots of windows. At the top, a small figure waved. Underneath, in messy handwriting, it said, "Thank you for listening." Daniel framed it and hung it in his office, right where the camera had been. Years later, when Daniel was asked in an interview what moment changed him the most as a CEO, he didn't talk about profits or awards. He talked about a little boy who whispered the truth, and how kindness, even in the smallest voice, can change everything. If this story moved you, remember this: kindness doesn't require power, age, or a title. It only requires courage. Sometimes, the most important changes begin with a quiet whisper and someone willing to listen. Spread kindness wherever you go.